My name is Sierra Freeman, and I completed my internship at the Statesboro YMCA. My name is Sierra Freeman, and I completed my internship at the Statesboro YMCA. My supervisor was Becca Collins, who is a professor with a master's degree in exercise science, a certified exercise physiologist, and a group exercise instructor. She is also the supervisor of the cardiac rehab program at YMCA, which is the program that I interned with. Becca did a great job of guiding us through the program in the way that she was more hands-off. She allowed us to really run the show. She was there to provide us guidance, give us instruction, basic instruction initially. When it came to motivational interviews with clients, she was in the facility if we needed her. She made sure to introduce herself to clients, being the head of the program. And she really let us learn and grow on our own. It helped me to build rapport with clients. It was something that I needed to learn. I definitely would consider her to be a reference in the future, someone I can come back to with questions about anything related to exercise science. I believe that she will continue to help me learn and to grow. And we really paid attention to my development. That was something that me and her personally wanted to work on together, was my professionalism and things along those lines. I chose this internship site because I am interested in working in the recreation realm of things, and it allowed me to apply personal training aspects to working in the rec center, and then it also allowed me to interact with a population of clients that I had never really been introduced to before. So both cardiac rehab patients and elderly patients wrapped up in one. I'm very familiar with the college population, even young adults, but I hadn't had a chance to work with clients of older age. I really needed that experience to learn. I was nervous about working with people that were that much older, and in not knowing what all they're capable of and how to push them. I learned a lot as far as that goes. This experience was really meaningful to me because I am very aware of what I learned. A lot of times I can do things and not be conscious of what I learned, but I have seen myself grow over the short term of this internship, and I really feel that I got a lot out of it. The biggest thing that I learned from this experience was creating programming that is useful for everyday living. A lot of times what I was doing before was creating programs, we want to strengthen this muscle, we want to strengthen that muscle. But with the older population that I was working with, specifically the clients that I was working with, they had goals as far as being able to get out of the car and things of the sort. So what I was challenged with was thinking of how to apply the knowledge of what muscles do what as to creating exercises that would actually help my clients with what they were trying to deal with in everyday life. So specifically, I have a client who sometimes struggles to get out of the car because of a hip issue that she has. So I worked on creating exercises that were directly related to strengthening that hip or getting familiar with that motion so that it was not something that plagued her in everyday living. Additionally, I became a lot more comfortable with client interaction. I was nervous about doing initial tests and things of the sort because I was more familiar with group exercise, which doesn't really require any diagnostics or things of the sort. It's kind of just observing what people can do as they're doing it. But I had to be a lot more aware of what my clients were able to do before we even started, and that was a big learning curve for me. Initially, when we did motivational interviews with clients, I let the graduate students lead, and they would assign me a task, maybe to run this certain test, as far like when we were doing maybe the Fullerton test or something like that. And then I would show up when it was time for me to train my clients, and I would be comfortable with that. But eventually I felt a lot more comfortable, and I was the one that led one of our motivational interviews, our diagnostic testing with a new client. I reached out to her and I got her to come, and she ended up choosing our program versus the program at East Georgia Regional, which was great. That was great for us. And all in all, I just felt a lot more comfortable. So that was my overall goal, had specificities within it, but my overall goal was to feel more comfortable in knowing that I am able to do this job and then doing it, simply put. My next steps include employment. As of right now, I'm going to keep working. I don't plan to go to graduate school right now. The internship did open my eyes to maybe more working more in a clinical setting or in the hospital setting. I was leaning more towards recreation, but I think I might push that off for a few years and do something in hospitals. I think the structure is something that's necessary for me. And I can also do recreation outside of maybe full-time employment. I believe the exercise science program did prepare me for this internship. The coursework was full of everything I needed to know. Obviously not everything, but the major things that I needed to know, and I felt comfortable going into it. My issue was more internal, not necessarily that I didn't have the material, but just that I didn't feel comfortable that I knew the material. I know that I had been given the material. It just was a personal thing. At this moment, I can't pinpoint anything that I would say could be better. I'm sure there are things, and maybe I'll realize those in the future as I am getting more into professional employment. But at this moment, I can't pinpoint anything that I saw that could be reevaluated as far as the program goes. When it comes to being connected with other students, that's also a personal thing for me. I didn't really feel connected to other students, but it's not because the opportunities weren't there, like Southern Exercise Science Club. I just was working, so I didn't have a lot of time to be involved outside of class, and I'm not always comfortable with reaching out to other people. So that was something I feel like, and I think that if I had made a point to be more involved, I might have felt more connected to the program as a whole. The exercise science program at Georgia Southern is a great program, and it's full of wonderful people, specifically professors that are there for you. And I didn't have a negative experience with any professor that I had. My biggest shout outs would go to Miss Yarborough and to Miss Collins. I like to call them my saving graces. I struggled a lot throughout this program as a student and as a growing adult, as a person, and they were there for me on so many occasions when I needed them. They went out of their way to help me, and I am beyond grateful for both of them and for all the teachers that I had.